Hey there, everybody. We're doing something a little different here for HMF Live. Something I'm going to try and start doing is having it here, of course, HMF Live, and then also here on Instagram. So this is the first episode on Instagram that I've done of HMF Live. And so no matter which one you're watching on, if you're watching live, awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can give me a thumbs up or let me know if you're here. If you watch the recording later, then maybe comment with a number 2 or something and maybe tell me where you're from. So that way I know you watched the recording. So, but tonight, for those of you on Instagram who don't know, we do this show every Tuesday night at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it's usually around the topics of health, fitness, sometimes emotional, mental health, financial health. And then once a month, we do a relationship episode. Normally, that is the last Tuesday of the month. However, today being a little bit special, as you may have seen on Instagram and on Facebook, that today is our 14th wedding anniversary. So I thought it would be kind of cool or kind of fun to maybe do sort of a marriage in review sort of thing. Obviously, we're not going to break it down year by year. That would be a very long show. But just kind of going over some of the maybe highlights, lowlights, some of the stuff that we maybe found funny or that were challenging. And if you guys have questions, you know, we're pretty much an open book when it comes to our relationship and our challenges and our successes. And so if you have questions about relationships, marriage, anything like that, we're happy to answer them. So for those of you on Instagram who don't know, this is Gary. You guys have seen him in my stories or my posts and my pictures, but you'll actually get to hear from him. It's been a while, I think, since he's been on my Instagram. So happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
And for those of you who maybe missed the post yesterday was his birthday. So happy birthday.
Thank you.
As I mentioned in Sunday night's post, celebrating our birth-anniversary week, because tomorrow's my birthday. And so if you have missed it, both places, go back to the Sunday post and you'll find a way that you guys can win a prize and help me and help us celebrate our birth-anniversary by just sharing a little bit about your goals. So, but tonight we're going to talk about our marriage to this point. You guys have seen a lot of our journey, a lot of our struggles, because we're very open about that. But maybe one of the places that I want to start, this is actually a conversation that my friend and I had, Gabby and I had at Summit, was the saying used to be that your first year of marriage is the hardest. I don't know about you, but I actually disagree with that. I feel like maybe when that phrase was created, it was in a time where couples didn't live together. They may not have known each other as well. So then the first year of marriage, they move in together and then they go through all of those like growing pains of learning to have a roommate. But most relationships aren't that way anymore.
No.
Would you say that's accurate? Like the first year, not as hard?
No, it's not as hard.
Yeah. I feel like...
Buddy, stop. Buddy, stop licking the bed.
He's giving himself a bath or something.
No, he's licking his bed again.
I actually feel like the further into a marriage you get, the harder it gets. And that's not to say that marriages get bad, but I think what happens is people get complacent.
Yeah.
And you stop, like, it's kind of like, I got the guy, I got the girl, so you stop trying as hard to sort of woo them over. And we've both said, like, you have to keep dating your spouse.
Yeah.
So that's something that we actually got pretty terrible about. For a very long time, and you guys have seen how we've gone through some major lows probably in the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. So what would be your advice to newlyweds?
Don't get married. I don't know. I would say make sure that's what you want. Make sure that's who you want. Don't take marriage lightly. And don't forget that, conflict is okay. Conflict is good. If you don't have, if I hear another newlywed couple say, oh, we don't ever fight, well, then your relationship sucks. Because one of you is giving in all the time and one of you is taking over all the time, or even vice versa, you guys take turns. So, you have to, you have to argue it out. Not every argument is detrimental and, devastating to your life. FML, no, FMS. Fuck my situation. Oh, sorry. That's
No,
right.
we swear. I swear. They know.
Oh, okay. Well, I have a dirty mouth, so. But anyways, conflict is okay. Conflict is great. Conflict is good. It depends. It can depend on.
Sorry, our battery's dying.
it can depend on when conflicts are constructive until you start, just using words as weapons. You just start throwing shit at each other, and then they're deconstructive. That's when conflict stops. But conflict's okay. Argue, scream, yell, swear, whatever it takes, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. You are two human beings that were not supposed to live in the same house. Cohabitation is one of the hardest things humans do. Especially now with like so much independence with each person. The societal marriage is different than it used to be. Used to you get, you just, whoa, you don't tell nobody you got a divorce, oh my God, But I've been divorced before, and whatever,
Now, yeah, before we keep going, because the battery is getting low on his phone, if the battery, or if the video cuts off, it's because the battery died.
Right.
You can jump over to Instagram at Hustle to Muscle Fitness, and you can keep watching, and then I'll save this video and come back and upload the rest. So just FYI. So as he mentioned, he has been married before, and I think though that like not as many people talk about going through divorce. Though, like a lot of people do, but it's still very it brings a lot of shame and embarrassment for people. For some anyway, I can't say for all. But I mean I don't know how you got divorced when you're giving newlywed advice, but my advice to newlyweds would be, you're going to have disagreements. You're going to have arguments. That's okay. As you saw my loving tribute to Gary this morning, yes, we do yell and scream and swear at each other. And sometimes that's just our method of communication because we both get very excited, agitated. We both get very passionate. We do swear a lot. And sometimes there have been many times actually where it was pretty unhealthy, and that's when we were going through more of our problematic years. And I'm not saying that we're like everything is all gravy now, but we're definitely in a much better place than we were even a year, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What would you say has been our easiest year? Like smooth as sailing, I guess.
Ugh.
Not counting finances, because that's always been kind of rocky, especially in the early years.
I would actually say our first year here.
In this house?
Yeah.
Oh.
I would say that.
I would, let's see. Literally had an argument about the door not unlocking the other day.
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes that's the other thing. That's actually a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. Sometimes you're arguing with each other, but it's not even because you're upset with each other. Something else set you off, and that poor soul just happened to be near you.
Yeah. That
has happened so much with us. Come home, have a bad day at work, or just whatever, even PMSing. And I've gotten better. Like for me, like today, I came home and I wasn't feeling mentally, emotionally, I wasn't feeling great. And I just kind of gave him a warning, like not so much that I would lash out at him, but just, hey, if I'm not really myself, this is why. But yeah, a lot of times you end up taking things out on your partner. You were gonna say something.
Well, yeah, because the one of the biggest things you can do this came up with me, like anybody coming home. Have you ever heard anybody say, "Oh man, I just can't stand it when they get home"? They say it. Like, I don't like it when you come home. There's all, whatever. But it's because you walk through that door with all of your day's angst, and you walk in and you are so just like the boss or whoever or one of your stupid coworkers, just, oh man, you suck. If I was a postal worker, I'd probably lose my shit, kind of deal. Well, going postal. Anyways, that was a 90s phrase. Sorry for all you youngins out there. But anyways, before you walk in that door, you can save so many problems and so many conflicts that are just absolutely dumb by stopping before you open that door, take a breath, put a smile on your face, and walk in. Hey, how was your day? How's it going? That will change everything. I am not kidding. That will change the world around you. I am just take a breath or sit in your car. Take a breath. Put that smile on your face because you're happy to see your spouse or your family. You're done with the assholes at work. I'll deal with you tomorrow after 9. But right now is my family time, and I am not going to ruin it by walking in and dumping all this shit on them. So I'm going to walk in with a smile on my face. I'm going to ask them how their day was. I'm going to smile. You know, that helps phenomenally. I am not kidding. You know, I know a lot of spouses when their husbands or their wives get home, they look at the time and they're like, oh God, you know, like, okay, they all almost start getting like, you know.
You read body language.
Yeah, they almost get tightened up and, you know, like, oh shit, you know, they're going to be home. You know, I used to do that with her. And I was like, God, she's going to be home and it's just, she's going to have a bad day or whatnot. You know, it's going to take it out. And the person who's coming home, stop, smile, breathe, or vice versa, breathe, smile, and open up that door with just the biggest fucking smile you can get. You know, just be cheesy as shit if you have to, because that's funny. Now when you get home, now they're excited when you get home. Now they're you know, they're like, oh my God, she's gonna be home soon, or he's gonna be home soon. You know, and that changes so much. Just that little bitty tiny thing, you know?
Yeah. I saw somebody had mentioned that they were getting ready to buy a house. So that's definitely going to set off a lot of arguments and triggers. So what I would say too is also to be aware of when you are in the midst of a transition, because humans are in the middle of transition of some sort all the time, whether it's buying a new home, you just got married, that's a huge transition. Maybe you're pregnant, you're about to have maybe your first kid or second kid or whatever, that's another transition. Maybe you've changed jobs, you moved, whatever. Always be recognizing when you're in transition and how that stirs up maybe feelings of insecurity for whatever reason, just that change.
I can attest to that. I am a human of non-change. I hate change. I don't like change. Change freaks me out.
And we've gone through a lot of change in the last couple of years.
Change almost makes me feel like failure's coming. So, you know, holy crap, that freaks me out. But again, you know, I'm afraid of change or fearful of change. I don't need to take it out on her. You know, we can discuss it rationally.
And part of that is also me knowing that that's one of his sticking points, and to just try to be a little more patient.
The last house we were in there for almost 10 years. And it was hard to leave that house, especially knowing they were ripping it down. But still, you know, like, there was a lot of life in that house with us. Of course, there was a lot of shitty life with our house in there, you know. I mean, I went through a drug problem. I went through, you know, it was because of back surgeries and, you know, and everything like that. So the narcotics started getting out of hand and this and that and so on. So, I mean, there was a lot of bad there, but there was also a lot of good there. But but to go back to say, you know, like, what was our best year? Probably this last year living here. One, I've realized a lot of different things. And two, it's different. It feels different. You know, you're not on your toes waiting for your house to fall out from underneath you, I guess. You know, like the rent guy's not coming to say, well, you have to move. Well, no, I'm not moving. This is my house.
Yeah.
You know, and to come from being homeless to owning a home someday blows me away. So, you know, yeah, last year.
I would say, let's see, we always have, I'm reading comments on both spots, that something will go wrong because we always have our super high ups and... Not trying to do that. Sorry. I can't read it. Anyways, I was going to say I think for us, one of our smoothest years was probably a year.
Super high ups, and then it always met with something going terrible, like karma, not with a relationship, but luck in general. Well, that's not karma. You know,
that's just life.
That's just life. Life sucks sometimes, and that's just the way it goes. But
I don't know what the comments are doing.
I don't know either. But the biggest thing is I mean, like karma, because that's that's because you've done something bad and karma's getting you back. But Murphy lives in everybody's house.
Yeah, it's Murphy's law, not karma.
Yeah, it's Murphy's.
Unless you're doing bad things, that's karma.
Yeah.
But if life just keeps happening, that's life.
Yeah, and you want to know something? More things will seem to happen that go badly when other things are going badly. They just kind of group at you.
And when you are unprepared.
Yeah.
So we've learned so many times. You guys have seen and heard us talk about financial health. And the importance of something like an emergency fund.
Right.
We have lived through both terrible times, no emergency fund, terrible times, emergency fund. And let me tell you, I'd rather go through terrible times with having that plan in place.
Yeah. It's sort of like the old thing, like you say, well, do I take a coat with me or do I leave it at home? Well, I'd rather have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
But you will always need an emergency fund because
ship breaks constantly.
Stuff happens, like we were just talking about this the other day, like we've got to rebuild our emergency fund.
Right.
And it was like, well, do we pay for bills first or do we do the emergency fund? We do the emergency fund because we have senior pets, as you guys know. We also have senior cars, and that means they're liable to break down. So,
that. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why this one's turned. The comments are down
the comments
here.
are down below, or they went sideways.
But anyways, I was going to say, I think one of our smoothest years was probably like year 3 or 4. Now we still had financial issues, of course. But I felt like, and the reason I say that is because I don't remember anything from that. You know what I mean? Like nothing terrible from year 3 and 4 really stands out.
Well, we moved over here. That was our big thing, is we moved over here.
Yeah, but that wasn't a terrible thing.
No. But I remember just saying, years 3 and 4 were filled with moving.
1, 2, 3, and 4. There wasn't really anything going on.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, yeah.
The most growth in our marriage, though, probably the last year and a half.
Yeah, I'm in therapy, so
I am too.
And I take Zoloft every day, so I'm not ashamed to say it.
And
but the only thing I say is that it's funny. I take pills so other people can deal with me is what happens.
It's so you can deal with other people.
No. I have to. I'm so much that I have to medicate myself to stop it from being so much on people.
Oh Lord.
That's what it is. I have to medicate to bring it down a little.
The other thing I would say, as far as advice goes, is have a sense of humor about it. Don't take stuff. You take the big stuff seriously, of course. Right. But for the most part, don't take it so seriously. Don't take yourself too seriously. I'm really good about getting wrapped up in how much this and that and all this stuff. And, he'll bring me back down to earth. And, like him, I'll try my best to keep him from blowing smaller things out of proportion, so that's, you're going to kind of find
that is kind of weird, that the little itty bitty things, just get in my craw and blow my shit up.
And I'm like,
but the big things, I calm down. I'm like, hey, I can figure this out.
And I'm like, blah!
Yeah, so we're opposite. I'm talking just having I don't know, just something very simple can just send me through the roof, and then something huge can happen, we're in the middle of a crisis or something like that. Buddy, he gets colitis sometimes and he's bleeding and stuff like that. And I mean, all that.
All right, let's pause right there because you are not great with the animals going into distress.
When the animals go into distress, I go into distress just because I'm worried about them. I'm desperately worried about them. But we're able to. Her freaking out is able to. I was calmed by my calmness, and my freaking out about little things and her calmness about little things keep us balanced.
You're gonna find each brings different strengths and weaknesses to the relationship,
and let them exactly.
Let them play to your benefit, or play out to your benefit.
I love cleaning the house. I love doing the laundry. I love taking care. I just love taking care of the house, doing all the household chores, doing all the household stuff. So I do that. It's simple as that. It's not that I wait for her to come home and cook me dinner and do dishes and stuff like that. I mean, I know.
Been waiting a long time.
Yeah, I do know. I mean, it is different. Our situation is slightly different. I am disabled, so I am home all the time. But still, I know there's a lot of disabled men out there and a lot of disabled people women out there that they rely on their spouse to do everything for them, and that just You've got it.
Roles are much more fluid.
And not only that, but man, for 3 or 4 years, you're going to be the one that takes 80 to 85% of the relationship energy. And then the next 6 years, she's going to take it. And then the next 8 years, you're going to It is hard as shit to live with another human being. If you can figure out what your guys' baselines are, don't change the subject because you want to throw in another argument because you still haven't figured out the argument that you're in. So don't bring up other crap that's related to it. Fix the one, then go on to the next crap. It's okay to go to bed pissed off at each other. It is okay for you to sleep on the couch. It is okay for you to wake up in the morning and still continue that fucking argument. You want to know why? Because we're human, and if we deny ourselves that and we do things like that, then it just, you know what? You feel caged, you feel controlled, you know, and stuff like that.
Not only that, but if you can actually get some rest and sleep, you know, sleep some of that tension off. Now, some people can't sleep when they're under stress. You know, you kind of also have to figure out what works for you. But if you can, like, even if we're mad at each other, most times I can still go to sleep. And when I do, I wake up with a new, refreshed brain.
Right.
And I'm better able to have a more cognizant, I guess, conversation with him, a more coherent conversation than just firing out of emotion and exhaustion.
And you'll know in the argument when the argument now has become, you know,
you're doing this.
Yeah. Well, now you're just like, okay, did we do this? Did we already do something like this, you know, or whatever? And
when you just start throwing crap at each other,
and then you just start making shit up. And it just, not you, I'm just saying, like, in general, the royal you know, I mean, like, you just start making shit up, you start throwing shit up, you start nitpicking, and then, oh my God, one person is going to think nitpicking is like taking needles and putting it in the end of your penis. Or your nipples for women. So, I'm telling you, it bothers you that much. One of the people is going to be bothered that much by the nitpicking. And that is going to set them off. And then, boom, war begins. And now you're just firing shit that just doesn't matter anymore. You know? I mean, do you remember 5 years ago? No, I don't remember 5 years ago because I've slept since then. You know? Men normally don't hold on to arguments. Women do. Men seem to get arguments about action-based things. You know, hey, you didn't do this for me. You didn't do that for me. You know, and women are more like, hey, how come, you know, this wasn't done? Or, you know, I'm not done, like, emotionally. So figure it out. You're smart humans. Do it. You know, just, it's that easy. I mean, it really is, you know. And then if you get to a point where you're just like, look, if I keep staying here, I'm going to stab you in the face. And that's just the way it goes. And I'm sorry that it came to this, but, and if you don't get to, if you don't figure out that before that point, you know, you're going to have hate in the person, and you don't want to do that because you were best friends for a very long time. You don't want to lose the friendship, but the relationship can definitely end, you know. It can.
I think it's key that you also, like, don't isolate yourselves. Like, you need to keep, you know, your friends before, you know, like, both of you individually need to have whoever it is that you can basically go play with outside of your marriage. So you have these different people to rely on. You have different lives even outside of your marriage, because then you come back and you talk about all these things that you did or people that you spent time with or whatever, and you bring those stories back in, and it, you know, it enhances your time together because you're sharing these, you know, these experiences that you've had with each other, even if you didn't have them together.
Women, don't be jealous. Men, don't be jealous. Jealousy will kill your relationship. It'll kill you. It'll kill you inside. I've been cheated on everybody. I walked in on my best friend and my ex-wife having sex. That's why we got divorced, okay? I still, to this day, I trust this woman a bazillion %. And there's already been one little, you know,
we've talked about the emotional affair before.
There was a hiccup.
Blip.
You know, but still, I trust her. Just because she's out doing something and she's not texting me back, I get more worried something happened to her. Not that she's out screwing somebody else. God, I see those memes all the time and they make me so sick. You guys, men aren't trying to find everything to put the penis in, and women, you're not trying to find everything to put a penis in your mouth. Men, that's just not the way it goes. I'm talking to both genders here.
I just don't know what memes you're seeing.
Well, these memes of, well, like, you know, what's a loyal man? I'll do this, loyal this, and loyal that. Battery's dying.
No, mine is almost fully charged.
Oh. All right.
Okay, is that any better? I unplugged the microphone. We'll just see.
Yeah. So... But anyways, just
don't be jealous.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Here. Okay,
Cool.
I guess we'll have to keep playing with the microphone. It
Yeah.
usually works. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and I would say as far as the jealousy thing goes, like it also depends on what people like, what the other person does with that. So, like, let me give you a for instance, what I'm talking about. So when we go out to like a bar or whatever, which it's kind of rare anymore. But so when we were earlier in our relationship, we'd go out to a bar, and I have a rule like with oh yeah, okay, Lee, you should have said you couldn't hear us before. So if a guy comes up to me and asks if he can buy me a drink, I have a rule. If he asks me if he can buy a drink for me first, before he asks if I'm married, then that's on him. But if he asks me if I'm married and I say yes, and then if he decides to buy me a drink, that's okay too. But I will answer the question honestly. I don't hide that. In fact, I never go, like when we go out, I don't go without my ring or anything like that. So it's kind of up to them. Like if they choose to ask me to buy the drink first, I'm gonna let them, because it's a free drink and I'm gonna save us money.
And I'm not gonna give a shit, because you want to know something? I know she comes home with me. So just because, God.
That's the thing is, that's what I was talking about though. It depends on how the other person receives that attention.
Yeah.
So like if a guy's hitting on me and I start flirting back, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But if I'm just, like being nice like I would to anybody else, and he still wants to, donate to my beer fund, then I'm gonna let him,
Yeah.
And he's not gonna care if I'm, like behaving essentially. And I don't want to say it that way, like, gotta be on your best behavior. But it's like, you don't ask for more unwarranted attention. If that makes sense. I don't know.
The only time it pisses me off is when he won't stop when she's told him, hey, enough is enough, or whatnot. And then I'll step in. But I don't think
if I give him the signal.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had to. Maybe I step in maybe once or twice, But and like with me, I don't have any interest in other women. Like, I find women attractive. I've seen women that, like, oh my God, they're gorgeous or they're pretty or whatever. But, I have no sexual attraction to anybody but her.
We'll check out guys and girls together.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, and I'm the same way. Like, I don't really, other than like celebrities, there are certain celebrities I might consider leaving him for, but mostly like the Hugh Jackmans of the world.
Right.
But in all seriousness, though, like I don't have a desire for anybody else.
Yeah.
Like, one, I can respect if somebody is attractive, but
right.
That's about as far as it goes. Two, way too lazy to go through all that again.
And another thing too, like, God, you young relationships, you young people in relationships. I'm sorry, but I know I just turned 43 yesterday, and I have earned the right to say you young kids now. But what I'm saying is if you're in your 20s and you're before 25, you are not thinking with an adult brain. You are still thinking with an adolescent brain. Your brain does not finish developing. This is physiology. I can't get around this. This is biology. Can't get around it. There's nothing you can do for this. This is exactly how it happens. Your frontal lobe of your brain is not connected to your brain center, control center, or, it's in the middle of your brain. So what happens is that this part of your brain gets sucked in over time. And as it gets sucked in when you're 24, 25, that's when it connects to your limbic system. Your limbic system is I know all these weird things. It's like the train station where everything goes in and that system says, okay, this is what we do. Well, the frontal lobe of your brain is impulse control. It is reasoning. It is all the things that you get when you get older. When you stop jumping from a moving vehicle that is going 70 miles an hour from the hood to the back of a truck, back to the hood. Doing stupid things like that as a male being indestructible. And God, women, if you're with a man who thinks he's indestructible, give him a couple more years and then maybe he will mature. But until he's 24, 25, he's not going to do that. Neither are you. So don't make any decisions. Don't make any lifelong decisions. Play. Do your shit. I was married young. I was with my ex-wife from the time I was 15 until I was 23 years old. I was, my adolescence was stolen from me, essentially. I stole it from myself, I mean, do things. The social media is so predominant now. quit fucking looking at your damn phone and go somewhere. And
Ooh, not only, sorry. Oh, go ahead.
I know you guys are saying, I mean, how ironic that I'm sitting here saying don't just sit there and stare at your phone, but you're looking at phones right now and we're using it. But what I'm saying is don't watch concerts through your phone. Don't.
Okay, you're getting on a different
Yeah,
soapbox.
sorry.
What I was going to say, though, is I'm glad you brought social media up, because this was not an issue, or this was not a factor when we started dating.
Yeah.
Don't, and not just about the time, but don't compare your relationship to the shit that you see on social media, because just like you see with pictures and videos, people put that shit through filters too. Like, they're only going to show you the highlights. They're not going to show you, with the exception of, like, you know, a few couples like us, they're not going to show you the shit. Like, that's the kind of the reason why for today's anniversary post, I posted what I did. Because we do, like, stuff, like I said, we do plan our sex around, have you showered? Well, have you showered?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we argue with each other, we yell, we swear at each other, we get mad at one another, we go to bed angry,
and
you know?
we can not have sex for weeks and it doesn't destroy our relationship, and I don't want to kill myself, and you know, but I'm just saying, like, you know,
granted, you should work on that NMC. That's something that we're trying to
work on. But I mean, but still though, you know, I didn't think our marriage was over, you know, like there were times when I had surgeries that I couldn't, you know, do everything. But
I'm just saying, don't compare yourself to what you see other couples do, because you have no idea what kind of crap is going on behind the scenes. And people, that's the stuff that people didn't used to talk about, because that was gossip, because you didn't see it all. It was just like
now it's
neighbor
everywhere.
to neighbor or whatever. But now you're seeing, it's the same thing. I'm going to not go off on this tangent, but just really quick. It's the same thing as like mom guilt. All of you moms out there feel like you're shitty moms because you're seeing all of these other women on social media who are showing you the highlights of how they're somehow magically juggling 6 kids and their house is immaculate and everything is hunky-dory.
That's because they're if you notice, their husbands are never in those videos because he's out there working his ass off to provide for her and he's never home.
Either that or they cleaned up one corner of their house and that's the really nice clean spot that you get to see, and everything behind the camera is a fucking disaster. Don't, like anything else,
it's
relationships,
like the poop in the toilet and the selfie.
Don't compare your relationship to what you see on social media.
Or what you even see in real life. Don't compare yourself. Comparing yourself to other people, you're 2 completely different human beings, or 4 completely different human beings. You know, I mean, there's just absolutely you can take some baselines, you know, like, I don't know, there's just things that are baselines, but I can't think of them right now, but I'm just saying, like, don't compare yourself, you know, and if your buddy's girl is cheating on him, or your buddy's guy is cheating on him, that does not mean yours is.
No, but if you're a friend, you should maybe tell
Oh,
them.
of course. And plaster that shit all over, you know, social media.
Well,
because absolutely, that is the most lowest, scummiest thing you can do.
It might be, but I mean, you need to let that person know so that they don't find out that way. That would be shitty. I would not want to find out on social media that you're fucking around.
I would call them on my phone, or text them.
Well, yeah, but you're then blowing out someone else's business. Like, that's, you know, some of the stuff that we've shared, I wouldn't want someone else to share for us.
Well, then, you know, then that person shouldn't have cheated.
Now, if somebody just randomly, what are you looking at me for?
I'm not.
You were like, cheated.
Well, I know. You started talking, so I looked over at you.
Oh, my goodness.
That's not true.
All right. We're probably pretty close on time, if not over. We're 35,
minutes.
yeah. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. For those of you who maybe came over from Facebook, thank you. I will post this full video over there. But anyway, that's kind of some of the highs, lows, and advice from us over the past 14, 15 years. We've had some pretty fun years.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we've had some low years. We've had some fun years. I think year 5 maybe was one of our fun years. It was before, like, the drug addiction got really bad, and we had the trip to Miami and you know, stuff like that. But looking forward now to, we're at number 14, moving forward, and like I said, we've had the most growth in the last 2 years. So looking forward to, like, you know, the next 14, I guess, being even more amazing because we're in our right minds. And let's see, Felice says, thanks guys, close to a year, and newbies. Yes, congrats on making it to that year. And just be patient, really, is what it comes down to. Be patient with one another. Remember why you got together in the first place.
Right.
Because
Your
a lot of
individuality
times
is what brought, is what brings people together. The independence and individuality. And they lose that.
The last thing too that I'll probably say is that, it's not that you guys, in most cases anyway, it's not that you stop loving each other. It's that you've let so much other life and bullshit get in the way that it's completely blocked you from that person and why you fell in love with them in the first place. That's happened to us many times. We have to kind of check ourselves every so often. So, but anyway, looking forward to our next, 10, 14, however many years, being even better, because we are now like a lot more self-aware as a couple, which is huge. The biggest, the first step to any kind of change is being self-aware. And we're getting better at communicating with one another. And like I said in today's post, there's nobody else I'd rather drive crazy or have drive me crazy than this fucker. So, happy anniversary, honey.
Happy anniversary.
Thanks, guys, for watching. And to those of you who might be celebrating something similar, congratulations. And, enjoy each other. So, have a great day. And no HMF Live next week, because I will be in Washington, D.C., and the time zone difference always throws me off. So, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. All right. Bye.